Another long and exhausting day at work, and I still have much to do. Sometimes I wonder why I still bother. I can surely afford to retire, leave the businesses to trusted colleagues. Even if they make enough to only break even, I have enough money to last us a lifetime or 3. I could even send 7 children to college if I had any. Not that I plan to. But the problem is obvious, isn't it? I don't trust any of the lot. It has to be me, because they might get it wrong. I don't want to retire. I suddenly wake up one day only to find that everything has gone down to shitter.
Christ, I'm knackered. Why do I have to kill there are fewer problems around here?
I'm not really allowed to complain. I chose this path. But that doesn't stop me from doing so as I throw my shoes off and let them land wherever they please. Petty, maybe, but there's a certain joy that comes with stepping on the carpeted staircase with nothing but my socks on. I'll accept no distractions. I call up Johan's for a sandwich, but that's probably it. I've got a suitcase filled with contracts to check over and sign before I can retire for the night. I'm also waiting for a call from Suarez for any new updates regarding the IT leaks, a real cause for concern. It's the reason there have been investigations on me. Had it been a new thing, I would let it run its course, but it's been going on for far too long, near 3 years, for me to just take on a passive role in the affair. I've only kept my head this far because I've managed to mitigate most of the damage with several favors, and some grand puppeteer to ensure the high-profile law enforcement and government officials keep me out of trouble. Yep, yeah, I knew that was going on. But who knows how long it can stay that way? Powers are shifting, and the current can be unpredictable. This whole exit business is already shaking things up and upsetting the balance. It's only with great care that I stay where I am because the smallest of efforts can unravel all that I've done. It certainly won't help if I'm being accused of things, whether I'm guilty or not, because some computer chump thinks he can play a game with me. Wait, are you trying to say you're being falsely accused, Luke? And, well, shit. It'll be a miracle if I get to sleep tonight. Though, that is hardly surprising news. But before I can even take a step into the study, a voice from the bedroom calls out to me.
Luke, darling, you're finally home.
Oh, Hannah!
Why don't you be a dear and come in here?
Alright, my dear wife. And I hesitate for a moment. I do have work to be done, but I suppose greeting my wife as I get home is only proper. I've already been gone for most of the week, unless I needed to be here for work on the house. So with a sigh, I head towards the bedroom. Oh, wow! Hotter! Whew! Is it getting hot in here or what? Caliente, baby. The feelings that came to me as I entered the room are definitely mixed. For one, I'm somewhat floored by the sight that greets me. Yeah, this is a side of Hana that only lucky motherfucking Luke sees. Then there is confusion. Exasperation is strangely there as well. See? Hana is still desperately trying to save this marriage, trying to keep it hot and spicy. And, as to be expected, there is desire. She is a divine goddess. Or rather, she is a horrible temptress. What do you mean horrible? What man wouldn't be attracted by that? I guess they could be a sausage jock. We are not that though. But that is beside the point, and is not relevant to the situation I found myself in right now. This is nice and all, but why does she have to go and do this now of all nights?
My love, the bed is awfully cold without you.
Slutty Hana, was that really what the achievement was called? Fuck, I'm choking on the sexiness. Or sluttiness, whichever one it is. The matter of fact is, I've never seen Hana all primped up like this since our first year of marriage. There must be something special to bring on such an act. Our wedding anniversary has already passed, so that can't be it. Besides, isn't this whole fucking mansion your wedding anniversary present? Hana's birthday is in April, and mine is in August, so it can't be any of those either. So what in bloody blazes brought this on? Oh my god, he's being suspicious of her, like, why is she dressed all sexy? Does she want something from me? Instead of just, you know, She's your wife, dude, right? I mean, from the way he's speaking, their marriage, they don't do this very often apparently, but still, I would not be questioning anything at this moment, okay? Is Hana drunk?
Why don't you just, you know, take a rest? I'll be busy all night.
What? Busy with her, you mean, right? You're just gonna brush this aside? Is that answer too cold? I don't mean it to be. She certainly doesn't look amused. Of course not. She's trying to spice things up, and you're throwing fucking ice on her? And fuck, if it doesn't feel wrong to refuse sex for my wife when I was all too happy to bang Marianne into her mattress. Yeah, that should definitely feel wrong, dude. Of course, I was drunk, but still.
Come on over and stop being a boring old man. Work can wait.
I agree. Who needs work? Maybe I can entertain her, just for a while. It is a tempting idea. But no, I'll never get any work done that way. And imagine how horrible it would be to get a call from Suarez in the middle of a shag. That would certainly kill the mood and piss me off more than anything. Then turn off your phone? It'll be even worse if Kylie steals the phone from him, as the little ankle biter is prone to do, unless her father is locked in a room. Just thinking about the possibility is weird and turns me off from even trying anything.
I'm afraid it can't, Buttercup. But hey, it's Sunday tomorrow.
Really? The thought of Kylie comes to your mind when you look at her? The fuck?
We can go out for dinner right after. Somewhere nice like that Italian restaurant you wanted to try out?
Why don't we skip dinner tomorrow and eat out tonight?
Oh god.
Whoa there, why don't we slow down? Looks like someone is in the mood, but hey, there's a time and place for everything.
Yeah, right now. I grew up in a house where sex was a constant thing. Alright, her mother being a prostitute, or his mother. It's just a thing that the body does, more or less. I mean, that could be why he sort of, you know, is very loose with sleeping with other women despite being married. That's why it probably, you know, it's the thing, right? Some people just value sex as this precious thing that you're only supposed to do with your lover, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, right? And some people, obviously due to circumstances and whatever they've grown up or how they were raised or what they were taught about sex, whatever, or how they just feel about it, they think differently about it and are just very open, and it's just, you know, it's just people having fun, pleasure, whatever. That's how some people look at it. So it seems for him, considering how his mother was a prostitute, he was probably more of the latter. Sometimes it comes with social implications, supposedly, with paper-thin walls, and a mother with that horrid jaw of hers made me think that way. But I learned later on that that isn't the case for everybody. Suffice to say, this is really odd. For her, at least. I'm quite sure she never grew up in a sexually promiscuous home like I did. She grew up with a well-to-do, normal, and decent family. And in the 7 years we've been married, she's never acted this aggressive about sex. We do it when the mood comes to that. But never like this. That's because you haven't been paying much attention to her, dude. She's been forced to do this because you don't pay any attention to her. And when I'm in the mood and she isn't, that's about the time I go around town to have my back scratched. I've got nothing to be guilty of, I believe, as long as it's just lust and not love. Yeah, see, that's how he thinks about it. I'm not a person who thinks similarly like that, but I can understand how he thinks about it and other people perhaps, but still, I feel like once you're married, that sort of thing, unless it's an agreement between both partners, right? Unless Hana is aware of it and knows it and allows it, then it's alright, I feel. I don't know. It's just a thing, you know? A thing that you have to agree upon as a couple. My night with Mint was just that. Sex. God damn, we're fucking 5 minutes into the chapter, and we mentioned the word sex more than in any other of the fucking chapters together. She was a beautiful woman. I was extremely drunk, and we were both consenting adults to some degree. Some degree. I feel like that's a key word. Some. Seeing as Hana had been busy with one of her many parties, I thought I'd take the opportunity to slip out. That's a good way to explain it, I guess. I'm just really confused and trying to come to grips with reality, as it is presented to me.
Well, this is the place, but now is not a good time, darling. Like I said, I have plenty of important work to be done.
Always your work, huh?
Any other night, this would be great. Excellent, splendid. But not right now, okay?
I suppose if that's what you want, I can have my prince another time.
Poor Hana. A chill runs up my spine as she calls me that again. I wonder when this is. Like, when exactly is this, right? Like, is Hana already possessed or not? Because I don't think did she call Luke her prince before she was possessed? I don't think so, right? I'm not entirely sure. But I'm getting kind of vibes that she could already be possessed at this point. My prince. Is she going through some midlife crisis? I know she's not the sort to play pretend with that sort of thing. Now that I think about it, this is probably some dream. Perhaps I've been exposed to something. Jesus, I've gone and fucked my own brain over. That can be the only explanation, or at least the only explanation my mind wants to accept right now. But if it were, I should probably accept her offer. No? But on the odd chance it isn't, I shouldn't. Either choice fucks someone over. Quite literally at that.
Yes, that's right. Another time.
God damn it, dude.
So if you could put your dress back on. It's really chilly right now, isn't it?
Oh my god.
You don't want to catch a cold if we're going out tomorrow.
He denied her. He denied her. I don't think I could even open my mouth. Thankfully, she's done as she's told, which she's done as she's told, which puts this strange episode to an abrupt end. Unfortunately, she had to put her dress back on so painfully and seductively slow. I suspect she knows the things she does to me. I actually wonder, what is her relationship thingies with everyone? Hana, it's kind of negative. Uh-oh. Is that going to have negative implications with the ghost? The woman? Uh-oh. I love how it went so incredibly south of Marianne. Holy shit. They hate each other. Kind of. And it's actually positive with Rebecca, right? Did I read the sentence? Yeah, I did. As much as I'd like to have the engine running, there are things to be done to make sure we can keep on enjoying a glamorous life as we do now.
I'm starting to think you don't find me beautiful anymore.
Okay, yeah, she is possessed. Look at her hair. This is the sign of her being possessed, right? I mean, it's clear already she's wearing the necklace, but also like this lighter blonde hair and her eyes. Okay, so this is past the 29th. On the 29th, she was possessed, right? That's when she put on the necklace. Yep. So this is already the night of the 29th or the 30th. I don't know which one. Is there an update of it already here? No. So it's probably 29th. Maybe after she put on the necklace.
Is that what brought this on then? You are an angel. A goddess, Hana. Of all the flowers in this garden, you are by far the most beautiful and rarest of them all.
Then why don't you deflower her?
Every bloke would want to be with you, and every lady would want to be you. I'm sure it goes the other way around too. I'm lucky to have you, and I don't know how you put up with the likes of me. I'm really sorry, darling, but it really isn't a good time.
I don't quite think little Luke is up for some fun just yet, either. Not after the blow he had been dealt with by a violent ginger harpy. Oh, is this one earlier that day? Rebecca just kicked him in the nuts. It does hurt me to see her upset because of something I've done or said. It always does. One can't always get his or her way, though. At least, society would like you to believe in order to soften the blow of disappointment. And I'll have to take their side on that. Just this once. Pulling her in for a hug and a peck on the cheek. I'm quick to pull away before I change my mind and make it more than that. I can at least give her those.
Chin up and smile. You'll get wrinkles frowning like that. And beauty sleep helps.
Of course, my prince. I suppose I can do with the sleep.
The smile that lights up on her face is enough to make me forget about the oddity that had just transpired. I still don't understand this whole prince thing. though I'll let it slide for now. Seeing her with her golden locks and that silver dress, it almost makes her queenly, with due respect to her majesty, of course. Despite that, there's just something off.
Hana, before I go, what happened to your necklace? The blue diamond.
Yeah, the blue diamond one that she supposedly never takes off, huh? The fact that she seems confused feels off.
Whatever do you mean? Oh, that old thing. It's somewhere in the vanity drawer, I think.
And to be so aloof about it?
What? But wasn't that from your father?
It was a priceless heirloom, to be exact, handed down from one generation of Evans to the next, whether it be to a wife or a daughter of an Evans. I know that Hana treasures it so, especially after it was given to her with her own mother's passing. Then, what is with that ugly thing dangling around her neck? It looks more like a choking hazard than anything.
It was, of course it was. I just thought a change would be nice.
I don't think I've seen her wear anything else in its place. A change it is, but not an entirely welcome one at that.
I see. I suppose that makes sense. Well, not that it matters, but I like the old necklace better. At the very least, we can have it cleaned and polished while you're not wearing it. Remind me to have that done in the morning.
Whatever you wish, my prince.
Right. You have a good night then, Buttercup.
My prince, she keeps saying my prince. With a shake of my head, I don't waste any more time than I've already done. Heavy suitcase in hand, I head straight into the study and dive right into the contracts. There's a whole stack of them too, mostly to do with property management. Nonetheless, careful work needs to be put into them. As with everything else, my attorneys have already checked them over, but I like to be precise. I'm not going to sign if there's even a single line I do not like. It's a long way into the night when a coldness envelops the room. I suspect, at first, that it's merely just a usual chill, but the heaters have been turned on as the strange sunny weather that's been gracing us as of late has come to an end. The door is barely open, just by a crack though. I shut it in case that might help. Satisfied, though not as much as I would have liked. The room still feels freezing. Oh, she's gonna come soon. I make my way back to the mess of documents waiting for me at the table. Just a few more, and I can get that well-deserved rest. Get out of this place and dive into warm comforts of my bed. Then maybe, if Hana's still up for it, well, it's more than enough motivation. Parking my rear back on the chair, I begin my work. I will be fucking just riding at the speed of light. I begin my work with the last of the blasted papers, more than ready to be done with everything and turn in for the night. Only for another chill to startle me to a stop. And that's when I feel the hairs on the back of my neck stand on end. Eyes boring at the back of my head. A brush of hair just at the nape. And when I glance back, oh god, there she is. What the fuck? Reflected in the lone portrait in the room. Oh my god, you see like the one eye? You see like the one eye? Someone stands behind me, just by the study door I closed moments ago, though I did not hear it open. Like, looks a lot like this dude, right? Maybe this old? Like, we think this black-haired woman, right? That she was the one in the memory fragments that was sort of being punished by Charlotte Ermengarde or whatever, right? Maybe she was in love with this dude and she confuses Luke for this guy as well. Therefore, when she's possessed as Hana, she's also like acting really just madly in love with him, right? My prince, blah blah blah, that sort of shit. I feel like that's when she's taken over Hana just to be with Luke, who she then thinks is very similar to this other Ermengarde dude who I forgot his name. I feel like that could be kinda it. Perhaps it is Hana trying to be sneaky, or Johan's being a bellend of a spook as usual.
Do I really have to ask people to knock before they enter? Seriously now, this is anarchy, and I'll have you know.
I turn, but there's nothing.
Huh. Must have been a trick of the light.
Sure, the light, yep.
It is getting late, and I should really go to bed myself. Just have to finish looking over a few more contracts, and...
Yes, just finish signing these and I can have some rest. Maybe arrange for a day off in the morning. Sighing, I steel myself for a long night of dry paperwork. I saw it in the top left, it's definitely 29th. Still, the feeling that I'm being watched stays with me all through the night. October 30th, Sunday. And with the sun rising, comes another disturbance. Did we fall asleep? Did we fall asleep at the desk? Both too loud and too sharp for my tastes. And I have very fine tastes. When the piercing rings of a doorbell reaches even the study, I'm very much inclined to think the person who built this place lacks any sense of it. Perhaps the only thing good in this is that the ruckus has chased away the needling guilt from last night's commotion, if only temporarily. Who is this when Zach rings the doorbell? Still, it's a bloody annoying distraction. I can tell already that it is going to be a long day. It hasn't even started. Before the racket even lasts another minute, I'm peeling myself off the chair and heading straight for the main door. There will be a murder today if this doesn't let up. How quaint. It seems everything in this blasted universe is intent on getting in my nerves as of late.
Gordon Bennett! Only a Nancy would knock at such an ungodly hour!
In the first place, I shouldn't be the one doing this. This is why I hired a valet, for fuck's sake.
Where's that damn butler when I need him?
Oh, Johans, open the goddamn door. I'll be honest, if only for today. With the mansion this quiet at this hour of the morning, it's easy to believe those little ghost stories might be real. But the only horror here is how odd my own wife has been acting as of late. There's no place for fear when another set of problems already burns that fuel. So, I wait for another second. When no butler still answers my call, I simply yank the door open myself, perhaps with more force than needed. It's Zach, oh dude. Oh, it hurts to see Zach alive when I know he's gonna die. And maybe it should be appropriate there, considering the person on the other side, and the hour he dared appear on my doorstep. Even someone with half a brain knows not to disturb anyone this early. Brief confusion quickly gives way to anger, and before the bloody photographer can even get a word in, I'm hurling venom at him. It's less than he deserves, really. Hana will disapprove, scold me for treating the photographer with such disrespect, if she hears me right now. She seems fond of him after all, despite meeting him only once or twice. He's merely doing his job, she'll say. But she's not here, isn't she? What she doesn't know...
You? How the hell did you get in here? What in seven hells do you want? It's bloody 6 in the morning!
6 in the morning!
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time! Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't!
This is still my home. My rules also apply to this place as much as Hana's do. As simple as that.
Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep.
It just so happens it's also a person I will never take a liking to. No need for remorse.
Come back when people are actually awake, or I'll call security on you.
He continues shouting even as I slam the door in his face. Some nonsense about the news lately, though I don't understand most of it. However, with the closed door muffling the better part of it, and with no ears to listen, his tirade doesn't last too long. Eventually, he leaves, and silence once again fills the room, as it should. In hindsight, maybe I should also call for psychiatric services. He certainly sounds mental just screaming like that. Is a suspicious man like him left roaming the immediate grounds? Nothing good can come of it. But if his presence will indeed bring a problem, a sign of bad things to come, I'll probably know soon enough. Worst comes worse, Johans will take care of it, if need be, and he definitely does. It's what I'm paying him for anyway. In the meantime, I need rest, even for just a few hours. My lovely wife's still fast asleep, and when I finally join her in bed, she feels a tad warm to the touch too, but it's nothing to worry about, I hope. Is she sick? As odd as she's been acting lately, her company's nice after spending long, grueling hours going through business documents. Then again, it's not like I'd be losing out much if I take a break or two. In fact, all I have to do is say the word, and Vance General Electronics stocks are going to go down. That's the least I can do after Rochelle Vance's outburst during the party. I highly doubt she'll be Rochelle Lee for long, Not if Harvey has any sense in him. So, with a sigh, I drift off, setting aside my problems, if only for a few hours. Not long into it though, perhaps only a few minutes in my mind, a knock interrupts my attempts at getting some rest. Checking the time on my phone, however, shows that it's just 8:30. Still too tired, but what can I do about it? Getting up is an entirely different problem on its own. Waking up, after only getting a few hours of sleep in, has my body stiff and sore and my mind feeling lethargic. A part of me wants to go back and doze off again, an alien feeling to me. But it's already far too late for my tastes, and on the second round of knocks, I reluctantly peel myself off the bed and answer the door. Only to be greeted by none other than Shrokin and his grumpy face. The sight of it is enough to dampen my own irritation, and I can only follow when he gestures towards the hallway. I have questions as to why he would bother me at this hour in the morning. This is when Zach got arrested. They probably have to go to the police station. But going by the grim, or rather grimmer than usual air about him, it must be something serious. The man stands there as relaxed and cool as can be, but his eyes hold an intensity that promises nothing but trouble.
I do hope I wasn't interrupting anything.
Well, I did want to sleep, but apparently the world conspires against me.
What do you want?
If you wish to sleep so badly, feel free to tuck yourself back in bed. I thought you ought to know that we've had an intruder.
Intruder. Intruder alert, intruder alert. And sue me if that doesn't pique my curiosity. Intruders, thieves who would dare set foot in my house to try and rob me were rare. If they had any form of experience, they'd have an idea not to mess with the rights, no matter how tempting our riches may be. But that did not mean attempted robberies did not happen. But what's strange about this one is the fact that Johans thought it important to bring to my attention. Oftentimes they deal with pests because I wouldn't really care how they take care of it. So
This needs my attention, why? Are they any danger?
Actually, I think I'll let you be the judge of that. He's down in the parlor. Come on.
Uh-oh. I glance at the bedroom door, hoping to goodness that Hana will remain fast asleep before following him downstairs. Through the foyer, and into the parlor where a familiar man sits unconscious and tied up to one of the chairs.
I thought I heard something scurrying around. As it turns out, it's a giant rat. And one that had pretended to be a harmless mouse, too.
Because he is a harmless mouse.
And he's still alive, isn't he?
It's hard to tell, with the way his body is too still, breathes too light. Well, I mean, you're already saying that he's breathing, so that means he's still alive. But it is there, the subtle rise and fall of his chest. Its presence lets me breathe a sigh of relief. A death caused by one of my men is normal. To be expected, really, yep. A dead body I can deal with. It'll just be one of the many I've seen. But if one turns up while the missus is at home, I'm not too thrilled with the idea.
I saw no reason to do more than incapacitate him. So yes, the man is still alive. Of course, that can be remedied if you wish.
No, this is fine. He wasn't trying to kill us, was he?
If he was wholly unprepared. But I do not think he had such nefarious purposes. He is a big man, but he seems too soft to be a hired killer. A common trespasser or petty thief, maybe. Certainly nothing more.
If a petty thief dares to try anything against me, people are forgetting their place. He's to be made an example of. A guy slacks up for once and everyone thinks they can get away with taking advantage. His thieving ways is going to be his one-way ticket behind bars. It's only as my anger washes away that I realize that the sun is starting to rise, off into the horizon, and I can only feel annoyance at myself for missing another night of sleep.
Call the police then. Let them round him up and bring me some bloody coffee while you're at it.
Thankfully, he leaves me to my own simmering as I take one of the free seats. And while waiting for my drink, I find myself staring at this man. We're just sitting across from her? Oh god, poor Zach. He looks like a zombie. I can see why Hana took an interest in him.
I was talking with Zachary, the photographer for Luxury Living.
Are we getting jealous now, huh? Hana is nice, but that doesn't mean she befriended every John and Jane from the street.
He was a perfect gentleman, Luke. A can't say the same for you as of recent.
Oh. Look at the man. Look at the man you call the perfect gentleman now, huh, dearest?
Look, Luke. Nothing will happen. You have to relax. It was just a friendly chat.
Just a friendly chat. A friend who takes advantage of someone who has shown them kindness. Truly, such soft hearts could not survive in this world for long. Hana is only so lucky that I am here for her. Who better to protect her from monsters than the worst of them all? And, as it always does when I'm in such a position, the power I wield hits me like an unnatural high. It's something else when I can hold a man's life in my hand without resorting to murder. A person is as good as incarcerated the moment I set them Harvey's way. And this makes me wonder if I can make luxury living grovel, beg for my forgiveness because of the crime committed against me by one of their staff. But he's kind of freelance, right? Deep in my thoughts, stuck in this power trip that rushes through me, I barely notice we have company until Johans puts a cup of coffee in my hands.
Officer Carl and his colleague are here to collect. They'll want your statement.
And, as he says, here are 2 officers by the door, though I can't even bother to spare them the slightest of glance before looking back at the unconscious gollywog.
If they need my statement, I'll give it to their chief. I'm due a visit to a good friend anyway.
Ah yeah, of course he's your good friend, huh? After my coffee and a bit of breakfast, of course. Once I'm done breaking my fast, and after a cool shower, I call for Johans to drive me to the police station so that I can give my statement. Through it all, Hana still slumbers. How long does that woman sleep? It's not like she had anything that tired her out. Nothing happened last night. The way she remains undisturbed even with the commotion, you'll think she has somehow contracted a sickness of some sort overnight. And true enough, the moment the back of my hand touches her forehead, she's burning up. It's unfortunate there's no time to worry about this. What? Your wife has a fever and you're like, too bad, I can't worry about this shit now, you know? But let her be, let her just stay in bed with a fever. Like, dude, she's your wife. As much as I want to care for her, there's urgent business demanding my attention elsewhere. And with the rest of the staff away, and well, call the doctor or anything, you know? Our marriage may have gone through a rough patch recently, but I still do feel as if I'm neglecting her like this. You're even consciously neglecting her, not even subconsciously. It doesn't help that the only thing I can do for now is to place a cloth dipped in warm water on her forehead and leave a bottle of medicine on her bedside. Shouldn't it actually be cold water considering she has a fever? And instruct Shroken to schedule an imminent appointment to her physician. Okay, this is what I was expecting, right? I just find it strange and he said, well, there's nothing I can do right now. Bye-bye. I just hope that this trip to the city won't take too much of my time, or further ruin my mood. The ride to the precinct is a quiet affair. I'm in no mood for idle chatter with what little sleep I've had. Not everything is smooth sailing, however, as soon as I arrive at the precinct either. But as they say, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. It would be more suspicious if everything had gone without ruckus. And it would be more boring too. Because who doesn't love a good fight and a bit of drama? Oh yeah, he flips his shit here, Ashton. There's nothing quite like beating your opponents down and making them learn who's the boss. If life just slumped over, there would be no point in even trying. But I would be much happier if the troubles life threw at me didn't include ruining my suit. Life in this case is that estate agent Lily who had the audacity to throw water at me.
You bloody
wench!
It's been a pleasure doing business with you, sir.
Who even does that? That third world countrywoman who's gotten too big for her bridges. That's who. This is Saiton X5, and this whole ensemble cost me 40,000 pounds. I could charge her for water damages to the tie alone, and have her begging down on her knees for my forgiveness. That Lily girl, really now, if I hadn't heard that the company she works for is closing, I'd talk to her manager and have her fired. A graceful exit into the police's chief's room was all I could muster in the face of such insult. My mood is further soured by the fact that I can still see the rest of the precinct from here. At the very least, Johans is making himself useful, and standing outside the door to make sure no one else enters unannounced. And now, here I am, dabbing a handkerchief at my wetsuit, dabbing, to no avail. It'd have to be given to one of the maids to clean as soon as I get home. This is just horrible. The interlining is going to pucker and pull. Ugh. But at least it's not wine, I suppose.
I'm so sorry about what happened out there, mate.
He called us mate. You're not supposed to call someone mate.
But you know how it is with these officers. All testosterone and ranking.
Well, you need to learn how to keep your men in line better, mate.
Mate?
But I didn't come here to talk about these hot-headed daft villains. They could be dead from the neck up for all I care.
He has the propensity to forget one tiny detail. I own him. I want to seethe and rage. Remind him who exactly the boss here is. I fucking knew it. I very well can, thanks to the wonders of soundproofing. But the stressed and nervous expression on his face stops me from giving him a tongue lashing. It would really do me no good to be at odds with me when he does prove to be a useful ally from time to time. So I listen when he speaks, focusing on the smell of coffee and cigarettes that filled the room in order to curb my tongue. For now. But boy, when you let a man like Harvey Lee speak, he speaks a lot.
Look, all I'm asking is that you be a bit patient with them. You do realize a good chunk of them don't work. They aren't with you, so to speak.
He wanted to say don't work for you.
Bunch of kids who think the police are superheroes or some cock and bull.
Shouldn't they be?
They don't know how things work around here. Especially that Frey boy. The lot of them are just tired.
But the thing is, right, the way things work around here isn't how it's supposed to work. That's the thing, that's the problem. It's not everybody else. Oh no, they don't follow how things are supposed to go. No, it's how the things are right now. That's not how things are supposed to go in general.
And why are you telling me this?
They're not the problem, you are, sir.
I was going to ask you if you knew anything about it. Perhaps one of yours know. There's been a string of unfortunate incidents as of late. Just recently, some bloke named Christian Psy was acting all nuts.
Oh, the Psy dude.
Off his rocker, that man. And we had to hold him, thought he was drunk. Up until he started bashing his brains in. Now he's a vegetable in a hospital bed.
Which vegetable?
Another time, some Mark Julius was reported missing. Some are thinking we've got a serial killer on our hands as of late. That Cooper lady from BRC got done in, and a Father Norman, too.
Father Norman?
You have to understand, mate. In a place as peaceful as Luxburn, this makes people wary. Reported crime rates go a bit higher than usual, and it makes them antsy and temperamental.
The fact that he's speaking so easy about this, like, hey, you know, were you the ones that killed them? It's okay if you did, man. If it's okay, I got your back if you did. But just let me know. If you killed them, I just kindly want to ask you to just, you know, calm it down a bit. Instead of killing 4 people in 1 week, just pull it down to 3, maybe 2, you know? Just calm it down a bit. Like, that's how he fucking speaks to him, like, oh, dude, holy shit, you couldn't be further up his ass.
Are you implying that I have anything to do with them?
Well, he's asking that.
Because as much as I hate to say it and admit, I am out of the loop. This is the first I've heard of these incidents.
Really? I'd say I'm insulted, but this is par for the course. Harvey knows who and what I am. We have a deal of sorts after all. Crime is always expected in a society with laws, and with humans who are allowed their free will. But why not strike a deal with the devil to make sure that said crime has some order at least?
Ah, well, that's a shame, I suppose. Figured if we could get any leads, it'd be from you.
I can't stop the scoff that leaves me. Can these police officers really be so incompetent? The chief of the damn police force seems to find it amusing, however, because as far as I can see, whether he believes it or not, he's got it easy in our little deal. He just has to sit back and relax, let me do my thing, and not turn against me, while he gets to live a comfy life. Yep, and you get to bang his wife too and make her pregnant. But perhaps that's why I haven't killed him off yet. His predecessor to the position wasn't so agreeable.
You know, someday I'll stop turning in my own men when they piss me off. And what will you do then? You and your men will all be lost without me.
I'll just hope that when the time comes, I'll already be all wrinkly and retired then.
See, the dude only cares about himself. It's a play of his. It always is. To act all casual and chuckling and everything, like it doesn't faze him. Pretends he's one of those kind. Wise old men type, so that people can't bring themselves to be angry at him. But I've seen him drunk off his arse bemoaning his fate, what he's become, though he tries to be as vague as he can, even in his inebriated state. And I've seen the malice this man is capable of. That's why it confuses me with how he reacts to what I say next.
So what is our little gollywog looking at?
Now there's never a time or place for that kind of racist talk, son.
Yep, I agree. He cuts me off in a firm tone before I can say anything further. Wait, is gollywog a racist word? I didn't know that. I didn't know what the fuck it means. I mean, I said it once, didn't I? Oh, fuck. Okay, that's the G word from now on, okay? I'll never say it again. I have no idea. There is steel in his eyes, and he near slams his fist on the table when he does. And I can't help but sigh, realizing that he's going through one of his self-righteous streaks, rare as they may be.
You know our little deal ties up my hands when it comes to a lot of things with you. But I hear that Steele is a good kid, and I ask you at least show a bit of respect.
He's a felon. I think I'm entitled to call him what I please. I don't owe him any respect at all.
In my pocket, he may be, but he still chose the path of the policeman himself. When he was a young man, yeah, that means in the past, he had the sort of sense of justice, you know, what you have when you... That happens a lot with policemen, right? Like, people come in there thinking they can change the world or just have an impact as a policeman, but, like, that's how you go into it. But after years, you just start to fall into traps like him himself and just follow the system how it's supposed to go, blah, blah, blah. And it's, yeah, I don't know, like, I don't know if it's actually accurate in real life or not, but like how it's always portrayed in movies, TV series, is that police, the police in general are often not like as legit as you'd think, right? And I bet it just boils his blood that he has to deal with the likes of me. But I, in turn, hate this side of him that makes him think he's still some do-gooder, some hero of justice. Because spineless fools were useless. Or useful, rather. Self-righteous ones forced me to do away with them eventually.
You put plenty of your own white men in jail. I don't see you calling them a... I don't know, white cracker or whatever lingo they have nowadays.
Or we can just call them men instead, you know?
And if not respect, you can at least owe the lads some basic human decency.
Whatever. But if you gotta stick up your ass about it, I'll concede. He's going behind bars either way, for however long that is.
2 days. Besides, what does it matter if he's black or white? Exactly, what does it matter? So why do you even need to point stuff like that out and insult him over it? The color of his skin doesn't change anything about current circumstances. It's a trifle matter to argue over.
It's 6 months and a fine worth 5,000 for breaking and entering. Unless you'd be willing to go easy on the guy. Let him bump it down to a misdemeanor and juvenile offense. We'll be giving him probation and charge him for the damages.
What damages? He didn't do any damage.
And that's it?
That's it. That's what a white man gets, and that's what he gets too.
That's what every man should get.
Unless you're going to stir up a fuss and make a big deal out of this.
In case you've forgotten, I do what I want, Lee. I don't even see why you protect the man. He's nothing but a petty thief.
And won't that look bad on you? The Luke Wright, getting his panties in a bunch over a petty thief.
You know, I didn't know quite how to think about this Officer Lee guy at first, but like, the way that he's at least sort of trying to persuade Luke into taking it easy on Zach, I at least kind of like that about him.
You said it yourself. He's nothing. Not worth your attention or effort.
Like, he's playing the game, right? He's playing it according to how, making it seem like, oh yeah, it'll be in your best interest. It'll be all good for you, Mr. Right, if you'll just let this go.
So why don't you just let me handle it like I'm supposed to?
And I do hate to say it, but he's got me there. I hate that all this power comes with a great balancing act. Be too lax, and people think they could get away with the smallest of things. Be too harsh, and people will, well, they'll not want to work with me for long. And that's never a good thing in the long term. And it shows on me poorly if I were to fuss over such an insignificant little maggot.
Now is that all you're here for?
Well, there's another thing I want to ask.
What? Can't I visit a friend? That detective. Feathers. Should I be concerned about him? He seemed keen.
Yeah, keen to bash your brains out.
Feathers? Oh, you mean Frey? Nah, he's not really anything to worry about. I got him assigned to your case to make the whole thing believable.
I fucking knew it. I knew it. I knew he did that just to be like, ah, yeah, let's put him on the case, you know? But the moment he actually made some breakthroughs, like, alright, Frey, you're off the case now.
The boy's a good detective, one of the best I have on the force.
So why did you give him a case you didn't even want to have solved in the first case?
But he won't be able to do shit with all the red tape tying him up. In fact, the higher-ups just took him off your tail.
The case against me? I still have one?
Yep.
Harvey, my dear old friend. Have you been slacking off?
You gotta step it up, Harvey.
Surely I told you to take care of that sort of thing. Surely it shouldn't have taken you this long.
Surely.
Surely it should be quiet by now on your end.
Surely.
They shouldn't be assigning anything to what's supposed to be a cold case.
I doubt you've got anything to really worry about unless you go out there and announce the shit you've done. They don't want to accuse the most powerful man in Luxburn without being 100% sure about things, of course.
The way he goes about it so nonchalantly.
But it's because of that company problem Suarez been talking about.
Suarez.
Can't believe that's still a thing. You think the geek would have figured it out by now? He's supposed to be a computer genius. Don't go blaming me for it. He's the one slacking off if you ask me. Don't you be pointing fingers my way.
And has Suarez mentioned anything new about that?
You'd have to ask him about it. You know I don't understand half the technical computer mumbo-jumbo the guy goes on about. It's like the guy speaks a whole other language. Which, technically he does, but you know what I mean.
Really now?
Yes, I suppose you have a point. Very well, if you haven't got anything else useful for me, I might as well head home. Get some bloody peace and quiet.
I could have some tea. Maybe with some whiskey and a nap. And I'll be right as rain. At least one of us should get some good R&R because it looks like Harvey isn't going to get any. Not with the commotion that started up outside the room. From inside the office, we can both clearly see that something's come up. Uh-oh. And opening the door lets the din of the place flood in with officers going about and phones ringing up the storm.
Looks like your children are in need of their minder, Harvey. Whatever could this be?
Isn't this where Rebecca, like, jumps?
What in blazes is going on here? What's the fucking fire?
The fucking fire!
There's been a jumper, Chief.
Uh-oh. It is utter madness as callers ringing all about it. A jumper? In Luxborn? If I weren't so tired, I'd given it more interest. It's your friend. Look, it's the only person you have a positive relationship with, Rebecca. Besides, besides going by what the officers on the phones are saying, it's probably far too late for the poor soul. They've already gone splat, and all lines are clogged with the distressed and the busybodies. It's not every day you hear about such things in the city. Or, at least, it's not every day I hear about a jumper that I haven't caused. Damn, dude. As if on cue. Harvey glances my way with a tight expression on his face, like, did you do this, dude? Was this your doing? That's the first assumption, of course. And I have to shake my head at him to say, nope, this one isn't mine, before I leave him to his pets. Stepping out from the chaos, I let in a breath of fresh air, or as fresh as it's going to get in the city. I do hate going to the precinct. It's a fucking zoo filled with animals, people who step in included. But it's not like the city's any better. Humans are just a higher form of animals, after all. We all delude ourselves into thinking otherwise. And I call up the car to take me away from it all. Back home. Though I can't bring myself to step inside the house when I do get home. Hana still rests, I assume. I hear nothing to say otherwise. Not her voice or her laughter, which easily fill any space with cheer. Everything is quiet, other than the hum of engines from the car being brought away. A bird's cry sounds off from the gardens, snapping me out of my reverie. It makes me look in that direction. It's an easy decision to go there. If Hana is resting, recovering from sickness, I don't want to disturb her with how agitated and annoyed I am underneath the surface. No matter how well hidden, I can keep it. Not to mention, I've been neglecting the garden for too long. I might as well stay put out here for the time being. Gray skies loom over the horizon, though the sun fights for every precious minute it gets to stay. It'll rain again soon, with the wind bringing along the gloomy clouds normal to Luxborn. Until then, it doesn't hurt to be out here for fresh air and sunshine. I walk to the gardens, what little of it there is at the moment anyway, and kneel by the daffodils. What is this obsession with daffodils? These were the first to be brought here and planted on my request, and if nothing else, they brought in a sense of peace. They were my mother's favorites. Closing my eyes, I lift my chin up to welcome the light that shines upon me, and for a minute, I can imagine myself as one of the flowers, peaceful, blooming, and all too happy to stand in its warmth. Life would be much easier if we were all like flowers, wouldn't it? Wow, that's deep, Luke. But I didn't step out here to get all philosophical. I have problems much more practical than figuring out the meaning of life, after all. Too many things have gone on these past few days, and I want to forget about them, even for just a moment.
It's almost All Saints, isn't it? To think I've almost forgotten.
All Saints? I speak the words absent-mindedly. The date means nothing to me, as I neither worship the religion, nor have any graves to visit. After all, Mother was never given a proper burial, so her mom died. His mom. But it's a date, as good as any, for me to grieve. Otherwise, I would have done so every single day, crippling myself and shutting everyone else out. I can remember how the flames licked at her flesh, and how it consumed her body, until there was nothing left but ash. Damn, she died in a fire? I stood there watching with the operator and a social service worker, though I could have been alone for all I cared. I felt alone. It was the most that could be done. No one could attend the funeral of a dead prostitute, let alone pay for it. All that is left of her, proof that she had lived, is her name written in the ledger of Luxborn Cemetery, a lighter, and me. Eleanor. It says the name Eleanor on it. Pulling out the lighter from my jacket, I can't stop myself from flicking it open to stare at the flame, and to run my thumb over her name. All in all, it isn't much, but it's something. And it'll be wrong of me not to make something of myself when she should have given everything to make sure I can become anything I want to be.
Feels like I'm stuck in a nightmare right now. What I would give to have you here by my side, Mother dear. To see you smiling at me, alive and as beautiful as ever. I'm afraid I'm starting to forget what your face looks like. I've already forgotten the shade of your hair.
Eleanor Chandler was a wonderful woman, though not everyone would have agreed. Not everyone had seen her past, or had seen past her occupation, past her vices, and her illness. All they saw was a poor woman who sold her body to make ends meet, and had a bastard son because of it. They didn't see the mother who worked hard to put food on the table for me, the woman who gave and gave and gave to me while expecting nothing in return. She taught me the merits of hard work, but though I loved her so, I worked hard for myself. I would not be so foolish, so selfless towards people who would never give back. I learned that from the father who plucked me out of an orphanage for his own selfish gain. I pocket the lighter before I can feel the urge to actually set anything ablaze. Considering my close proximity to the flowers, they would be the most likely victim of arson. Just the thought itself is blasphemous. Nevertheless, that doesn't save them from being picked. Just enough to make a bouquet of the things in honor of Eleanor.
Would you be proud of me if you saw me now, Mother? Maybe.
I don't know.
You're always so forgiving. No matter what trouble I got into. More than I deserved.
It's been a while since I've talked to my mother like this. They say that even when our loved ones have passed on, they stay to watch over us. Interesting. That's something that could be happening with the ghost, you know? Although not in a positive way. Though I believe in neither a heaven nor hell, a hopeful part of me wishes it were true, as ridiculous as the idea is. I can't help but grow still, a chill going up my spine, when I do feel eyes upon me. For a while, I think I'm imagining it, but I'm all too familiar with the sensation of being watched. Carefully, I scan my surroundings, doing my best to not give away the fact that I'm aware of their presence, whoever they are. But there's not a soul in sight on the field surrounding the mansion. Yet, there on the balcony overlooking the garden. Oh god, there she is again. That dark, black figure. She stands there, and though I cannot see her face clearly from afar, I know she is the one staring at me. A servant, if one were to judge by her clothes, or clothing. From its distance, I can't discern what those stains on her clothes or clothing are. The woman gives off a rabid air, and simply did not belong with her surroundings. That isn't what worries me though. What worries me is that she isn't one of ours. She can't be. Obvious signs of being tattered and dirty stayed aside. There shouldn't be anyone else in this mansion aside from the three of us. And that's the balcony that leads to our bedroom. Forget pretending that I don't notice her.
What are you doing there? You're not supposed to be there!
Hey, get down from there! It's a stupid thing to do. I realize in hindsight, but calling attention to it was a spur-of-the-moment plan. From the height, there was no way she would have jumped off the balcony, and perhaps she would have only been able to sneak in there because Hana is asleep. Calling out to her would wake Hana, and at the very least, call Johan's attention to the matter at hand. I dread to think of any other way she could have gone there without Hana calling for us. The woman on the balcony doesn't react, barely even stirs. She's just still sitting there, watching. Probably drug-addled or touched in the head, though that begs the question of how she even managed to get in there. That changes nothing, of course, and doesn't stop me from running back to the mansion.
Shuriken! There's an intruder! In the bedroom!
Come on, let's go, Shuriken!
Upstairs! Secure Hana immediately!
Capture her! Bursting in through the front doors, I'm greeted by Johans with a kitchen knife in his hands, looking wary and alert. There's a question on his lips for a moment, but he's quick to fall into place, giving me a curt nod before we rush up the foyer stairs. That woman would need to go through us to get anywhere, and between me and the butler, there's no way she's getting away. There's no announcing ourselves as I slam the bedroom door open, expecting to see the worst inside. But nothing. When we find Hana simply seated at her vanity, without a care in the world, my relief couldn't be any greater. Ah, she's looking at the necklace. I don't even question if she's well enough to be moving around yet, but that is soon followed by suspicion and caution. Without a word, I signal for Johans to search the room for the intruder, even going so far as to slipping into the second bedroom. She couldn't have gone anywhere else, not without getting our attention, not without Hana noticing. It isn't too far-fetched to think that she may have been coerced to act like nothing is out of the ordinary. It was probably the girl or Hana herself, right? She just sort of switched back and forth, I don't know. Or she just disappeared as usual. If she's being forced to do this, she would be able to tell me without alerting the criminal. She would be ready for such things, after all, being the wealthy, powerful, and influential people that we are. And though I hesitate to break her peace, to make her worry any more than she has the right to be, I know that matters of safety shouldn't be taken so lightly. Even if I could just content myself in just watching her.
Are you alright, Hana?
There's a moment of silence as she fastens the cord around her neck, and, with her back still turned to me, she replies as calmly as can be.
Of course I am. Why wouldn't I be? Is there something wrong?
You looked a lot sexier before, Hana. There is no sign of coercion or deceit. She gives none. Everything looks fine. Seems fine. Hana says as much. Then it's gotta be fine, right? Right? There's no need to distrust what our beautiful, lovely wife says. Stepping out onto the balcony doesn't say anything differently. The outside is devoid of signs of any other human life, with how secluded the property is. Though it is hard to be sure with how the sun is set so fast, trying to locate anyone on a large property by myself would be futile. Whether it is the truth or a convenient lie, one could only assume that everything is alright. And even Johans is in agreement.
There's nobody in the second bedroom or in the closet. It's all clear.
The coast is clear. Yet, I can't fight off the awful feeling that has taken over me.
Are you sure? Nobody?
It's kind of strange though, like for everybody else, they felt the presence of the ghosts very, very early on, right? Or just kind of as soon as they read the letter, like the day after or a couple days after, whatever. But here, it seems like his first experiences with it was on the 29th, right? And it's mostly through Hana herself as well in her possessed state.
Double check. Triple check everything.
Quadruple check.
Check the whole house if you have to.
What's going on? What is all this then?
He claims to have seen an intruder standing on your balcony. Did you notice anyone here, madam?
No, it's just been me. I've not heard or seen anybody else aside from the two of you all day. Strange.
How strange.
The others have been given the day off. There shouldn't be anybody else here. Are you sure of what you saw? Perhaps you were...
No, I wasn't drunk.
Yes, I bloody well am sure of what I saw. There was a woman standing there, dark hair and in servant's clothing. Are you insinuating that I am making things up? That I'm going mad?
Mod? He said mod?
Because if you are, I don't care how competent you've been. I won't have such disrespect directed at me. It's not paranoia if people are out to get me.
Because they are. My anger is easily roused. No thanks to the adrenaline rush that's kicked in sometime, I don't know when. I don't think I'll ever get used to this feeling, really. No matter how many times I've had to rely on it to survive on the streets as a kid. To survive everything with how I've managed to prop myself up. And I take any and all threats towards my person seriously.
I'm not implying that you're mad. The occasional hallucination is a completely normal and human experience, as long as it isn't a repeat occurrence.
Oh, so what? That was a trick of the light? My imagination?
You haven't ingested any alcohol today, have you?
A valid question, but nope, not today.
I am not drunk.
In my state, I only realize how quiet Hana has gotten when she doesn't joke about my debatable alcoholism. There is no clever quip or words of fond expiration or exasperation. She's only been watching me through all of this. And when I do notice that, I start feeling bugs crawling on my skin. When I didn't deign to speak further, fixated on the sensation, Johans cuts in.
Whatever the case, we need to establish tighter security. We should have done so from the start. If you were seeing things, then we got lucky. Had there been a real intruder, we were ill prepared.
Of course. I trust that you can hire the most qualified from the agency. Are you all right, Hana? You seem disquieted.
I'm well, my love. I was just worried about how the hallucination brought you distress.
Hallucination, huh? Is that how we're calling it? It wasn't a hallucination. I'm sure of it. What can I do to prove otherwise?
Doesn't matter. You are safe, as am I. I overreacted.
Perhaps rest is necessary. It is late into the day, and you must be tired from your gardening.
Before I ask how she knew what I was doing, see? A small fawn smile graces her lips before she brushes away a few yellow petals from my sleeve. But it does really look like I'm that exhausted? I'm sure to be well rested, despite it all, and it's not like I've done anything physically exhausting today. Beyond running here in a hurry anyway. No doubt I've left a trail of flowers in my mad dash. And I suppose I do look like a mess.
That sounds good. I guess I'll need to sleep a lot more than I thought. But
I'll stand guard for tonight. Wait, this is Shroken. I'll stand guard for outside for the night. You two have nothing to worry about. Worst German accent ever. Nothing to worry about? I'm not so sure about that. But thinking any more about it isn't going to do anything.
Come on then, my love. Off to bed. I have been restless without you by my side.
Yeah, you even so restless that she got a fever. Even then, I can't force away the uneasiness that settles over me. Sleep is hard to attain, and even Hana's embrace does not help. She's still burning up. Really? She's still sick?